Hi, I'm Dawn Crossan, owner of the Reston Letter, and this is the Reston Letter podcast. We love writing about our community, but we also love to talk to people. We hope you enjoy listening to the people we write about.
Hi there, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Reston Letter podcast. Today I am here with Nicola, president of the Reston Swim Team Association. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you very much. Excited to be here.
We're happy to have you. So, Caden Smith, one of our Reston Letter writers, wrote in an upcoming article, for more than 5 decades, RSTA has been making waves, both literal and metaphorical, throughout the Reston community. What began as a modest summer swim league has grown into a cherished local tradition, connecting families, fostering lifelong friendships, and cultivating a shared love of swimming across generations. My goodness! Okay, so where does your story begin? How did you first get your toes wet with the organization?
Great question. So my story began when I first moved to Reston many years ago. I have lived in the Reston area for over 20 years now, and then my own children were born here. I'm from Ireland originally and had no history of swim leagues, or anything on the scale of what we're talking about with Reston Swim Team. So when my twins were 5 years old, they had been doing swim lessons, and one of my friends persuaded me to give swim team a try. And we have never looked back. And I have to say, at first I was a little hesitant because people had told me early Saturday morning starts, lots of practice time. Wasn't sure if it was going to be for us. But honestly, I think as soon as we stepped onto the deck, just the community atmosphere and the environment for the children was just so positive and so welcoming that we have been there now for 8-9 years now. So we've been part of the community for a long time.
Speaks to that whole component of growing along as a community and having that swim component, which is a great segue over to talking about New Wave. Mm-hmm. For those working towards the competitive level, what can you tell us about that program, the New Wave program?
So the New Wave program was introduced 4 or 5 years ago now. It was created as a way for children who are maybe not quite swim team ready, but have basic swim skills as an entry into the swim team environment. So it is specifically targeted towards children of 5 to 12 years old who maybe know a couple of strokes, have certain swim skills, but maybe just aren't quite ready to compete within a meet environment. The intent is that we work very closely with those children from a coaching perspective to develop those swim skills, with the hope that they will then graduate either during the season or the next season into a team.
Awesome. You said that this is a fairly new addition to the program?
It is. So obviously during the COVID years, a lot of children who historically would have had swim lessons, starting as early as 3, maybe a little earlier, we didn't have the children that were coming out with those swimming skills. So the New Wave program was created as a way to facilitate that entry-level basic swim skills, developing your skills specifically for the swim team environment.
How has the community responded to that program and having that element of, okay, you know how to swim, but let's teach you along the way of getting more competitive?
It has been overwhelmingly positive. So we also actually have families who may have older siblings that are already part of the swim team family, and it's a great opportunity for younger siblings to go through the New Wave program first before being on the team. We also have completely new families to swim who have never experienced a swim team environment, and it's a great opportunity for them to develop those skills, see the meets in practice. They can attend whenever they want, but they also, more importantly, get to see the other teams practice at the pool. So they get to understand how swim team operates, they get to see what the other children are doing, They get to interact with our coaches who are all 18, most of them are 18 years and younger. It's a developmental league, so all of our coaches, most of them have been through the swim team environment, and it's a really good opportunity for New Wave swimmers to learn more about swim.
It sounds very welcoming, and especially to have folks who are like about or approximately within your age range showing you the ropes and reassuring you that you can do it.
They can do it, and we have just started practices, and we had our first New Wave practice this week, and seeing the faces come on deck that are a little bit nervous and a little bit hesitant when they first get on the deck, and by the end of the first practice session they're just beaming. They love their coaches, they love coming back to swim.
Love that.
At this time, we would like to take just a quick moment and thank first Reston Association as our special sponsor for this episode. Specifically, we want to recognize Laura Catrona, Nate Wheeler, and Laura Kowalski for all the hard work they do. We also want to give a quick shout out to our Reston Letter sponsors. So we want to thank Foley Academy of Irish Dance, Oak Hill Psychological Services, Herndon Tech Computer Services, Connie Hartkey, Hotworks Herndon, Nothing Bun Cakes Reston, Watts Fine Homes, Sunset Hills Montessori School, and The Bike Lane. Thanks for sponsoring the Reston Letter. We could not do it without you. All right, and now let's get back into the rest of the podcast.
Let's circle back on this term that you were using, the developmental league. Can you expand some more on that?
Yes, so Reston Swim Team is really about a holistic experience. So we are competitive. We have some amazingly talented swimmers who compete not only at a district level, but a regional level, a state level. But most important to us is this approach in terms of the experience of children in swim team. It is supposed to be a fun environment. It is supposed to be an environment where children can learn. They learn about good sporting behaviour. They learn about the importance of being part of a team. They encourage each other. We have a lot of older coaches who are mentors to the younger swimmers as well. So it's really all about that developmental aspect where it's not focused completely on competitive swimming. It is also really focused on developing the whole swimmer and developing a lifelong love of swimming.
Can you also go into paint the picture of what a swim meet looks like or a practice? Really take us into the culture of swim family.
So the swim meets themselves are a lot of fun. And I mentioned earlier about being somewhat intimidated as a new parent to this many years ago by just the sheer size and scale of what happens at a swim meet. So there is a lot of activity. There are a few early starts. Everybody always says, I don't want to be on deck by 7 a.m., but the meets are so much fun. There's always coffee available. There's usually donuts as well to keep everybody going. But we actually start with our youngest swimmers and we go through the different strokes. We have a break in between. The teams do cheers. There's a lot of excitement on the deck. We need an army of volunteers, so we couldn't do swim team without having those volunteer parents on deck. And the roles that they play could be anything from running the concession stand or being a timer or being a stroke and turn official. And there's many roles that are needed to actually run a swim meet. We also have relays. We have mixed age relays, so our youngest swimmers get the opportunity to swim with the oldest swimmers.
Oh, nice.
The way that we run our swim meets is a little bit different to purely competitive swimming. We have different classes of times, so you don't have to be the fastest swimmer to get a first place. We have what are called A, B, and C times. So every swimmer has an opportunity to win an event, so to speak. There are points awarded for the different places, but it's a really great environment because, as I say, you don't necessarily have to be the fastest swimmer to score points for your team and for everybody to cheer you on. And that's the most important thing. It's really about that supportive environment for our swimmers.
Everyone's a winner, and the cool factor is there. As you're explaining all of it, I don't know about you guys, but I can hear the cheering and the splashing, thinking of the concessions and the families that are there supporting. That's so lovely. Okay, so all of that excitement, it is exciting to think about that sense of accomplishment that these young athletes must feel as they hit their goals in the pool. But from the perspective of a coach, parent, sponsor, what do you think are the most lasting ways that RSTA shapes the swimmers as people?
So I think most importantly, one of our main goals is to develop that lifelong love of swim. But I will say that along with that, this organisation has been part of the greater Reston community for 52 years now. And we can only do that with volunteer parents and families coming back year after year. So we are extremely proud of developing that sense of volunteerism within the community, and we rely upon it too. And believe you me, the Restonites never fail in the local community to step up and fill these roles, and so that's really important to us, and we're very fortunate that now we're seeing second, third, and this year a fourth generation of families who are stepping up not only just to help volunteer, to be team managers and support the league. They have swimmers in the league that are now grandchildren, great-grandchildren, but they're also stepping up as sponsors of the league. So we're very proud of the fact that this year we've actually a family of 4 generations that are supporting the league through sponsorships and volunteering as team managers and children who are swimming in the water in a team.
That's so incredible.
It really is.
You've got the kiddos in the pool, the coaches, the sponsors. it's really a holistic, it's a family whole thing.
It really is, and we love seeing our sponsors on deck. We're very fortunate. We're fairly new in terms of sponsorships for the league. Some local businesses have really stepped up in terms of really helping us, and their support really helps us fulfill keeping the league going. They also help us provide fees paid scholarships for any child who wants to participate in swim team. So they are helping us pay for that. They're helping us pay for new equipment. They're helping us support our team coaches. So it's really important to us, and we're so grateful to the local organisations who have stepped up, because they've really made a difference for our league.
Incredible. How can listeners get involved? How can folks connect with RSTA to stay in the know, sponsor, and registration for any upcoming seasons?
So the best way to stay involved is to look us up at rsta.org online. I'm also happy to take phone calls and emails. Anyone can get in touch with me through president@rsta.org. Our summer program is just beginning. We're really excited because we have our first swim meet of the season this Saturday.
Woo-hoo.
Feel free to come by and check it out. You'll probably hear us on the pool deck from 7 a.m. Across multiple different pools in Reston. So the best way to get involved is check us out on the website, get in touch. Our fall and winter program will kick off later this year. Registration for those programs will begin usually mid-August, and we'll send out communications to anyone who's interested. It will also be posted on the website. Winter swim is a little bit different than summer swim, but it is a great opportunity to develop swim skills in preparation for the summer season.
Beautiful. Is there anything else that you want to share with listeners that we didn't touch on or I didn't ask?
I would just like to personally thank all the parents of the local community. It is just such a supportive environment, and the hours that we spend making this happen every year and pulling the program together, it is a lot of work, but as soon as we see those smiling faces on the pool deck, we are just absolutely delighted to be able to continue this tradition of summer swim in Reston.
Love it. Very exciting. I'm really looking forward to checking out a meet this weekend, maybe even the very start of everything. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today. And thank you all for listening. See you in the next one.